Ha, I probably should have asked this before we went live. It's VK, like the letters, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, it's Bill. This is episode number 41 of 3 Questions and a Song. You can find us at buildthescene.com. With me tonight is VK from the Spider Accomplice, which is a band out of LA. What's up, VK?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. So as I told you off the air, this is real quick. It's 2 questions, talk about the song, another question, a little bit of information, and we're out of here.
Awesome.
So the first question I have for you, I couldn't pass it up with the name like the Spider Accomplice. I need to know Spider-Man or Black Widow.
It's funny because folks assume that like we're comic book people because of the Spider Accomplice, and we're not really.
Honestly, I had no idea. The reason I asked it is because I am.
Yeah.
My classroom for the last couple of years has been all superheroes.
Wow. Well,
So.
yeah, it sounds like you're a fun teacher then.
Thanks.
I always enjoyed the Spider-Man movies. I know nothing about Black Widow. The Spider Accomplice doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man, unfortunately.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us where it came from?
Okay. So essentially I've had the name kind of on the back burner for a long time, waiting for the right incarnation. I wrote a poem about it, how because I write a lot of songs, and a lot of poems and things like that. And I feel like sometimes there's a little spider in my brain spinning this little web of like poetry and shit. Can we say that?
That one, yes. Anything worse than that, try not to.
Okay. And I feel like my head gets just full of web and dust and whatnot, and I just can't focus. And when that happens, I know that's when a song's going to come out. And so it goes, bleh, and it gets out. So I feel like I said to my husband, I'm like, I feel like this spider's like in my head. It's like this little accomplice, like, creating all these little crimes in my head. And so he's like, that's interesting. And so I wrote a poem about it. And so that's kind of where the Spider Accomplice came from.
That's actually a pretty cool story.
Thank you.
So the second question I had is, can you take us back to the moment when you realized you wanted to be a musician?
Oh gosh, yes. I think always, to be honest, my mom was always playing. She had old, the big, vinyl records, not the 45s, the like full on LPs, when I was a kid, and I'd wake up to them every morning, Rubber Soul and Revolver, and oddly enough, then Dolly Parton and things like that. So, I mean, she would throw back and forth these things, and I just always woke up to good music. And I think that kind of grew in me. And so I was always singing along to everything. So it was kind of just assumed that I would just always be kind of singing. And when I decided I was going to be a songwriter for sure, I can tell you, like, the moment that happened was I was watching MTV's Unplugged. Remember that?
I do. And we're kind of going to do that premise here shortly.
Nice. I was watching Melissa Etheridge, and she was doing her Unplugged, and she was just like telling her stories and screaming her butt off and whatnot. I remember I turned and looked at my mom, and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's it right there. And she said, okay. Because my mom only gets so excited about things. But yeah, after that, I got a hold of a guitar. I started just learning and writing, and that was it.
So the song you sent for us is Crawl. What can you tell me about that? You can tell me a story about that spider in your head, or about recording it, or is there a video for it?
There is.
And tell us some behind the scenes stuff.
That's probably the most interesting part of that story. We recorded the video and the song while in quarantine. We were never in the same room for it. I was in his place. I was here. And then when I had this idea in my head, as I do, for the video, because the whole song is about shedding your skin and finding out who you actually are inside and not hiding it, how we tend to hide our things and whatnot. So I had this idea of myself in a snake skin And that throughout I would kind of be shedding the skin, and then at the very end of it I would have the skin shed, and that would be who I really was, and I'd be totally naked. And my husband said, "What now?" I said, no, it's like, it's a metaphor and it's art and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. But then we actually went out and went to Red Rocks and Topanga Canyon, and we socially distanced. Everyone, stayed. There was only 3 of us, actually. Me, the filmmaker, and my husband, who did secondary camera. And then Arno went out and did his on a different day. Like, we weren't even in the same area for that. And so we went out and, totally did the thing, and I'm sitting out on the rocks with hikers walking by, and I'm buck naked, like, just doing the thing. That's how it happened.
Cool. I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
I know.
I will come to you when I'm done. Okay.
That
sorry.
Was happening. That was happening, man.
My daughter wanted a hug.
Aww.
Yeah, but she's in just a t-shirt because she's going to bed and she can't come in front of the camera.
How old is she?
10.
Aww.
She did. She
Give her a
pouted.
hug for me when you get there.
I will. She pouted. I was like, I'm trying to tell her I will come, and she wasn't getting it.
Oh, you must be a good dad.
Thank you. I actually have twin 10-year-old daughters, and then my 12-year-old son is sitting over there on the couch very quietly.
Wow.
But,
wow. That's a lot of kids.
The running joke is my wife told me she wanted 5 kids. I wanted 2, and
met in the middle.
On the second pregnancy, they came 2 at a time. So I said she tricked me.
Well, a little bit.
But all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a minute and listen to the song "Crawl" by the Spider Accomplice, and we will be right back. Those of you that are hanging out with us live, you will not actually get to hear the song right now, but it will be up on buildascene.com tomorrow. Sometime. Normally it's up on the 1st and the 15th by 6 a.m., but it's currently 9:15 and I have to be up at 6 a.m. So may or may not get it edited tonight.
You can only do what you can do, man.
That's right. So I'm going to bring us back in as if we had heard it. To those of you that are listening, just play along.
Just play along.
That was Crawl by the Spider Accomplice. With me tonight is VK from the Spider Accomplice. If you are just jumping on now and on one of our streaming stations, you missed the first 2 questions, and you want to go back to buildascene.com and check them out. So what's coming up next is Erik Winger from last episode had a question for you, and he's going to go ahead and ask it. All right, so it's, how did you stay in touch with your fans during the pandemic so far?
That's a great question. Because initially, the weekend that we went into lockdown out here in Los Angeles, we were supposed to be playing with Stitched Up Heart, and it was going to be a great show. We were super excited, and then we were going to come to Philly actually and do a show there. And so we had a lot of stuff planned, and it all just ground to a halt. And I thought, well, I can't disappoint everyone this weekend who was going to come out to the Stitched Up Heart show. So I'll just go Facebook Live and play a few songs. And so I did. And everyone said, you should do that again. So this weekend will be the 24th episode of the Saturday Night Live acoustic quarantine sessions that I have done every single Saturday at 5:00. I go live on Facebook and on Instagram, and I play an acoustic set, and we have beer, and we have pizza, and we tell stories, and I sing songs, and it's been really cool. We've got kind of an interesting little, gang of folks who they meet in the chat. They know each other now. They're friends. Like I told them they should all get jackets. Like it's hilarious. So it's kind of cool. We have this new cool community of people who every Saturday they log on for the show.
That's actually kind of how my other podcast started. I had a friend who was in Texas that had a streaming internet radio station. It was all unsigned bands. And I was just starting. This was 2004. Oh, wow. I was just starting to work with bands. Well, really, I started working with bands in '96, but I was just starting to create my own website, which was akmusicscene.com, which if you go to, will take you to the section of buildthescene.com now. But so he was having problems with his radio station computer, and I told him, if you show me how to broadcast, I'll broadcast. You can fix your computer. And that was the first episode of the Pennsylvania Rock Show, which was September 14th, 2004. So actually 2 days ago was the 16-year anniversary.
Woo-hoo.
So
Congratulations.
24 weeks could turn into 16 years if you're not careful.
Right. It's like, watch yourself. You never know.
My wife still yells at the guy that came with the microphone.
She's
like, this is your fault.
Deep down, she loves it.
Well, before the kids were born, she was into it. And then, one of us had to adult.
One of us had to adult.
Okay, we both do. But that first year, though, when it was newborn twins and a 2-year-old, there were no shows.
Yeah, that's intense, dude. That's intense.
But so I gave you a little bit of homework. I asked you to check out Sharon and come up with a question for them. So what did you come up with?
Yeah. It was nice because I know a lot of the quote unquote female fronted metal ladies because of Eve's Apple, which I don't know if you know about Eve's Apple, but it was a community of female rock and metal singers. We had 50 women all in this little group, and we all hung out and were friends, and we played at Metal Female Voices Fest together in Belgium, and it was pretty cool. It was around for about 3 years. So it's cool to meet one of the younger girls coming up, because I think she's like in her 20s.
I honestly don't know.
Well, she looks young. She's beautiful. And I liked her voice a lot. I liked that nice low contralto she had in there. Like, it reminded me of Helen Boak from Flowing Tears. And so I guess my question for her is, has she had any interest in, or any interest from the Euro metal scene? Because it seems like it would be a great fit there. That's where a lot of that seems to live.
Mm-hmm.
So, if she's done that, if she's toured Europe, if she has any interest in the Euro metal scene, if she knows any of the ladies from out there, like, what's her connection to that, if she has any connection to that?
If the answer is she doesn't, can I put her in touch with you?
You can. You absolutely
that would be awesome.
I got people to send her to.
So it's funny that you mentioned the group that you had, the group that you were involved in, because both of you, Sharon and the Spider Accomplice, the same person suggested both of your bands to me.
What?
It's Dakota from DI Records.
Yep.
I did his original website, and I still hang out in their staff meetings. I don't have an official position, but I advise.
I like that. I advise. Yeah.
Occasionally he'll be like, listen to this and tell me what you think.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's an absolute sweetheart.
I live maybe 50 minutes from him, and I've never been in the same room as him.
Really?
Yep. And I've known him through Facebook for probably 4 years.
Go have a beer, man. Like, just get together, have some wings. Like, life's too short. We've got to connect. Like, holy Moses.
Well, speaking of connecting, how can the fans connect with you online?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you can find us pretty much everywhere. We're on all the things, because they tell musicians now you have to be on all the things, So we're on all the things. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. All of it is always the Spider Accomplice. If you are absolutely struggling, you can't spell accomplice or something like that, look up VK Lynne, and everything VK Lynne will funnel to you. Like, and you can tell by my hair, oh, that's her. It's funny. It's almost like a stop sign. It's like, stop, listen, Spider Accomplice. So yeah, you can look up VK Lynne, you can look up the Spider Accomplice, and you will find us. You'll absolutely find us. And we're chatty. So come talk to us.
I have a bonus question for you. I do this occasionally.
Love it.
Is it always pink, or do you change the color?
It is always pink. I discovered that kind of pink was what worked for me probably about 11 years ago. So I have just been pink ever since then. Before that, I was kind of messing around with strips of like red and blue and blah, blah, blah. Now, pink. Yeah. Paint on the eyebrows pink. Gotta do the whole thing. It just seems to work because my natural hair color is so desperately boring, and life is just too short to have boring hair.
I have very little on top, but But I tell people I'm 4-tone because it's kind of a brown.
Okay.
And then my eyelashes are white. And my beard is kind of strawberry blonde. And then there's white in there too.
Irish?
Only a little bit. I'm actually more German and Italian than anything.
Interesting.
But yeah, I look Irish. I have blue
eyes. When guys grow the red beard, they're a little Irish. But
yeah, very, very little. On my dad's side, my grandfather was half Italian and half German, and my grandmother was German. So
yeah.
So 3/4 German on one side, and then but I have an Italian last name.
You do. That was what was interesting. I was like, yeah.
I tell people that this is terrible, and I'll probably have to cut it out. But I tell people when I was growing up, I was mostly German and Italian, and my best friend's name was Guido, so they should be afraid of me because I could be related to Mussolini and Hitler and be connected.
Well, now see, what I always said is my people are German, and I said I just want to have a T-shirt that says "We did other things."
Well, yeah.
Like, think about it: beer, pretzels. Without us, your bar experience is ruined.
There you go.
You need the Germans.
We have a little bit of time to play with. Is there anything else you want to throw out there that you might want people to know before I let you go?
We just would really love for you to go to our Spotify and stream the living daylights out of us. As it always is, numbers matter. So, if you go to our Spotify, you can really do a deep dive there. We've got everything up there, and we would love for you to join us on Spotify, stream us there. I have a solo song coming out October 1st. It's kind of a pop rock bippity bop kind of thing, which is crazy because I generally hate that sort of thing, but I decided in the middle of everything going on in the world, we needed something happy. And this is about as happy as I get. And I don't usually get too happy. My husband always says, "Could you write a happy song, please?" So I'm like, here it is. It's a happy song. So, look out for that. But yeah, Spotify, definitely we would love some Spotify love if you're willing to give it.
I will throw you up on my Spotify playlist too.
Oh, you're an angel. Angel.
And those of you that are listening, if you go to buildascene.com, there's a pull down in the main menu that says shows. You go to 3 questions and a song, and you'll be able to find the show notes for this episode, and there will be links to probably the majority of their social media, because I have that form you had to fill out, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
that was everything. You asked for everything. I was like, I was like ready to put a vial of blood onto the thing. I was like, all right. Yeah.
Well, that's because when I go to edit tonight, I just copy and paste that and then just add the HTML code and I'm good to go.
That's smart. It's absolutely smart.
And it hopefully will help you get some hits.
That would be delightful.
The Build a Scene website has been around since October of 2018. And in the first year we had about 1 million hits. Second year we had about 1.2 million. I'm not sure what we have this year. I haven't looked. but
it's probably a lot.
Well, what happened was the Pennsylvania Rock Show, which is my other podcast, has been around since 2004. AK Music Scene was 2004. And then I created another website called Podcaster Scene. And all of those are now part of Build a Scene. So they kind of dumped all into the one website. So all that traffic is pointed to one place now.
So your creativity is kind of just black all over the internet, right?
Yes. I actually have about probably 55 websites that I run online. Some of them are music-based. Some of them are small businesses. Then I don't own them all. I do them for other bands and small businesses. And the school I work at.
And do anything else?
I do it later at night when my kids are sleeping. and then I sleep about 5 hours, and then I drive an hour to work. And
oh my gosh. So that's not your full-time gig?
No, I teach kindergarten through 8th
Oh,
graders.
that's right. You said you teach.
Yeah.
Holy Moses, dude.
And
Are
then
you just like pumping Red Bull down you like all the time?
Since for like 2 years, I had nothing caffeine except chocolate.
Wow.
And then the pandemic happened, and I started drinking a lot of pop again. But I don't, no real, like, I don't do the caffeine drinks.
Wow. You're just full of energy.
Maybe when I was a little younger. I'm just driven might be the word.
Yep, I understand that.
But even when I'm at school, I'm teaching kindergarten through 8th grade computers. And then I teach 4th through 8th grade science and 4th through 8th grade stream. So there's nine periods in a day. I teach 7 of them each day because I have a lunch period and a plan period. And then I'm teaching all the other ones. And
I'm going to send you a bag of coffee. There you go. Big old bag of coffee.
But it's fun. And I think Spanish might be on the horizon, and I really don't want to teach that. But
and I really don't want to do that.
But it might be a necessity because we're supposed to have it, and for the last couple of years we've been struggling to find a teacher to teach it. And it was my minor, and I'm in a Catholic school, and they can pretty much, you have a background in it, you're doing it.
Hola, señor.
So, yeah. And I made the mistake the other day. I was speaking Spanish to my 6th graders, and they were like, why aren't you teaching us this? I'm like,
don't tell.
But I think I'm being tricked. There was I'll tell this story off the air because
okay.
I don't need it recorded. But those of you that were hanging out with us tonight, I want to thank you for being here. The band Shock Frenzy, who is a past guest on the show. I don't know if you saw them give me the happy medal in the. Here, I'll throw it up there. Happy medal. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I want to thank you for that. And make sure you listen to the episode after yours so you can hear Sharon's answer to your question.
Right.
All right. So with that said, we're going to head on out. You're going to hear John Lane from the Hellfire Club give us our outro. And then you should go to buildyourscene.com each and every week and check out the Pennsylvania Rock Show, 3 questions and a song, and everything else I have going on over there. And you can find the Podcast Your Scene page. There's like 15 other podcasts. They're all about unsigned music. They're not mine, but they are friends of mine. So you should hit them up. And if you're interested in being on their shows, contact them. Everybody's looking for guests. Okay, we're going to head on out, and we'll catch you Friday on the Pennsylvania Rock Show.